Bitcoin is finally back above 50K. Ethereum absolutely exploded yesterday for its biggest day in about 2 months, and ADA made another all-time high. What the hell is going on? This market is absolutely mooning at the moment. I'm going to take a look at those three charts and all the news that's driving markets today. You don't want to miss this. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and tickle that like button right down below. Why should you subscribe to the channel? Because it can win you up to $5,000. I'm giving away $5,000, 10 prizes of $500. You can enter as many times as you want. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, hit that link right down below. I'm trying to give back to this amazing community that has given so much to me. But now, let's take a very quick look at the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA charts and all of the news that's driving markets today, because this market is going absolutely bananas. Here we go. First, very quickly with the Bitcoin monthly chart. When in doubt, zoom out. I tell you guys all the time that you should go look at the larger time frames and don't get too consumed in the lower time frames. This is an asset that you want to own for decades. Price only goes up and to the right. That's what we're looking for, right? Well, here we have a monthly channel since 2013, down, up, down, up, down. And now we have officially flipped the EQ, this dash line, the equilibrium, that's the 50% level of any channel, up, down, or sideways, to support. 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks below. All those candles closed at or above, and now we're heading up. That gives us targets of six-figure Bitcoin. Even if it happened next month at the top of the channel, that'd be $183,000. It won't. That means the targets are higher. Looking at the weekly chart, you can see we're pushing into strong resistance right here at the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level. That's of the move up from 3,800 to 65,000. We expect a lot of resistance in this area on multiple time frames, but the weekly is still looking absolutely massive. We do want to start to see a big advancement of price. All these down wicks here, which look like demand, they are. They can be viewed as bullish because buyers are stepping in. But when you have these candles like this, these are called hanging man. The week is not done. We can't judge it yet, like I said. But that tends to mean sellers are also very interested in pushing price in these areas. There is a battle going on. Going into the daily, we have the Bollinger Bands, which you can see are tightening very, very tight right here. That means volatility is coming. So it's encouraging that it held the mid-range right here and is touching the top of the bands. We're going to need to see real interest in buying and serious volume to push these bands up again. But we do know, like here, and here, when they tightened, that eventually volatility is coming when the bands tighten. This is kind of what I'm looking for if it continues on a bullish path, but it's very important to realize, like on the weekly where I showed you the Fibonacci level, we are at resistance. These are major areas of supply right here, right? This big dump here, this initiated this huge dump. This is where price paused in these areas, meaning there's a lot of selling interest and sellers probably left over. That's probably why we saw price go to 50, drop below and consolidate, and now push up. And again, we want to see some real volume starting to come in. It's still pretty low. But for me, if you're trading this, you want to get above this level, buy a retest, and then kind of do the same on the way up, all the way to the highs around 65,000. Everything looks great right now. It's just important to recognize when you are at resistance, and that's where we are in multiple time frames. You can see on the 4-hour, this is the idea that I had shared multiple times over the past few days. Well, we never got the retest, but we did have the symmetrical triangle breakout. But really the target of this, unless you view it as a bull flag, in which case you have much higher targets. But if you just view it as a symmetrical triangle, it's basically, targeting around 50,500, maybe a little bit higher. So it's already approaching that. And once again, coming into the resistance from the last high. Now, this is back on the daily as well. Obviously, I talk about divergences all the time. It's nice that all this sideways action has reset RSI to where it's not overbought anymore. But eventually, you do make the trip from overbought down to oversold. That is inevitable. Doesn't mean it has to happen. It took a year last time, I think. We had bearish divergence, hidden bullish divergence here, more hidden bullish divergence here. Well, now, listen, we could have more bearish divergence, right, from like here to here, depending on how hard this pushes. So we do really want to see a major push here. If price keeps going up, we want to see RSI push back into overbought and get above these previous highs. But everything looking good. Ethereum, no surprises here, guys. I've been screaming about Ethereum since it was at the bottom of the range, breaking out here, retesting this as support in the descending wedge. Well, now if you can get this entry at 0.073242, I would take it. That was the idea that I shared on the streams yesterday. We broke this high. We should be targeting the top of the range here. This is Ethereum on the Bitcoin pair, of course. So now it's just clearly a time to buy dips. This was the biggest day Ethereum had, about an 11% gain in 6 or 7 weeks. And on the Ethereum USD pair, same thing. Clear double bottom that hit the target, took us out. Support above this accumulation range. Very, very clear here. I was screaming about entries at 1,720 if you've been following, and now breaking these local resistance and climbing. So if you're looking for an entry, maybe start bidding 35.95 around 3,600, catch this dip on the way up to the highs, right? This should be heading now technically back to 4,400. It left accumulation. It's flipping every level, all looking good. ADA, I keep talking about now, but it's now the third coin by market cap. ADA has to be in the conversation with Bitcoin and Ethereum now when you're talking about the top large cap coins. Well, here we have the weekly ADA Bitcoin chart. I've somewhat been screaming about this level, 0.0006240. That is the highest weekly close ever in the history of ADA, and we just tapped it as resistance. This is basically clear skies ahead on larger time frames. If it can get above this level, flip it to support and head up, ADA should be heading towards the all-time highs, even on the Bitcoin pair. And if Bitcoin continues up, boy, the potential on the USD pair is astounding, right? Once again, we had this all locked in, dialed in each level. Well, now it's making a new high. It was at about $2.97. Now it's broken above $3. Still some significant volume here, versus what was happening all here. So you're looking now for a flip and back into price discovery, one of these kind of moves. And then sky is the limit. That is the charts that I have for you today. So now it is time to dig into the news. Bitcoin rises above 50K after Ether's biggest single day gain in 6 weeks. Bitcoin climbed to the highest level since August 23rd. Yeah, we were just there like a week ago. That's not really a big deal. But as you can see here, there are a lot of fundamental reasons that Bitcoin is rising. And here are some of the ideas, right? With data pointing to bullish bias among large investors. The COT report published by the CFTC, that's the United States Commodity Futures and Trading Commission, on Friday, showed asset managers holding record long exposure of $165 million. Here's the quote. The net exposure of asset managers is positive for the first time since April, indicating that institutions have turned bullish on Bitcoin. Talking about institutional adoption, who's buying, where the money is coming from. Institutions are pushing this and they are still betting long. Also, we've seen a massive migration of coins off of Coinbase and other platforms. We know when there are major outflows, that tends to mean that supply is being reduced and people are moving coins into cold storage. Extremely bullish in my opinion. Binance US could go public in 3 years. Changpeng Zhao, CZ says, report. A listing would be a boon for the embattled Binance brand. Basically, CZ openly admitted that they want to follow what Coinbase is doing, do a direct listing or IPO in the United States and go public, but that would take 3 years. 3 years seems like 1,000 years in the crypto space, but it's really nothing when you talk about legacy markets and the success of companies. But it's nice to see them have this long-term focus and start talking about what could happen 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. Also important to note, Binance US is not as much a part of Binance as people think. It's effectively a franchise. It's really a different company, but still interesting to see him talking about them taking the Coinbase path, which clearly means following more regulation. This news had me thinking about Biggie. You're mad because my style you're admiring. Don't be mad. Franklin Templeton is hiring. Well, that is the words of Biggie from the seminal hip-hop work Flavor in Your Ear by Craig Mack. But he said, don't be mad, UPS is hiring. It was an insult. But in this case, one of the largest asset managers in the world, Franklin Templeton, who have 1.5 trillion assets under management, are hiring in the Bitcoin space. At least 2 crypto-focused jobs posted this week. 1 trader, 1 researcher. We are looking for a cryptocurrency trader to execute trades for several strategies using the largest, most liquid, listed and tradable crypto assets. Read one of the gigs. These are one of the biggest mutual fund giants in the entire world, and they're clearly coming into crypto like every other institution because they have to. Makes me think about another rap lyric, Busta Rhymes. Floss a little, invest up in a mutual fund, right? Busta knew about this years ago, investing in mutual funds. This is huge. Mutual fund giant Franklin Templeton hiring and will be executing a strategy to purchase digital assets. FTX's FTT token hits all-time high following LedgerX acquisition. I've been posting FTT setups in the newsletter for ages, and it's nice to see them finally pop. Well, now it's in price discovery. If you look at the chart, it'll look similar to Solana and Luna and ADA. Any of these coins that are going into price discovery continue going up. The market seems to believe Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire has gotten more powerful. Well, I think we all know that they're buying everything. I would let Sam Bankman-Fried put an FTX sign on my mailbox in the front of my house for the right price because they are endorsing everything. Well, now they've bought LedgerX, which is a derivatives exchange in the United States. That is huge. It means they will be able to offer futures and derivatives products to United States traders. That means we are getting leverage up in here. On a side note, maybe the opposite sort of news. Crypto market won't last long outside regulatory framework, Gensler says. Platforms should be asking for permission rather than begging for forgiveness, the SEC chair said. How can you beg for forgiveness when you're not doing anything wrong because there's no rule to know what's right or wrong? Right? I mean, the SEC fined Poloniex $10 million for a violation in 2017 of a rule that didn't exist and still kind of doesn't exist yet. How are companies in the crypto space supposed to exist and innovate and push forward when they don't even know what the rules are? I mean, he has all these quotes here saying that they should just come talk to him. Talk to us. Come in. That's what he said. Talk to us. Come in. You might have a security. What are we going to talk about? I'm going to come in and you're going to say, I mean, maybe. Like, there's no clarity. And, you know, we were all very bullish, I think, on Gary Gensler coming in. He understands blockchain. He taught it at MIT. But it's clear that he thinks everything is a security if its name is not Bitcoin. In fact, if he had been in office 4 years ago, he probably would have been the SEC chair under Hillary Clinton if she had won. He probably would have deemed Ethereum a security, and DeFi would look very, very different now. This guy is worth 9 figures. Goldman Gary, I don't think he's as big of a fan of our space as we would like to believe. What a dick. Let's move on. Playboy is minting NFTs on the art of gender and sexuality. Playboy, of course they are. First of all, Playboy is not new to the crypto space. They did start accepting Bitcoin, I think, in 2017. Maybe it's 2019. It's probably in this article. Let's see. 2018. Take an average of the 17 and the 19, carry the 4, square root, round the 1. 2018, Playboy started accepting Bitcoin payments. Well, now they're doing a 50-piece series of NFTs. Listen, I mean, it's amazing if you're me, because in the 1980s, if I wanted to see a naked girl, I had to go steal a Playboy magazine from my friend's dad's closet, which were stacked right under his Dockers pants. I'll never forget. I mean, I never did that, but like if I had, now you just get you'd be a 12-year-old and go on the internet and watch as many naked people as you want, and you can even get it in an NFT. But we know that mainstream adoption of NFTs is coming. This is the reality. No surprises that Playboy is coming in as well. On Crypto Potato, is GameStop developing an Ethereum-based NFT platform? American video game and consumer electronics retail giant GameStop may be working on a massive NFT marketplace based on Ethereum. I don't think there are any surprises here. They have huge deals with companies like Hasbro and Xbox. So it would make a hell of a lot of sense for them to come into the NFT space. They made an announcement, a very cryptic announcement many months ago saying that they were officially getting into NFTs. But this news comes from a pseudonymous person on Twitter named Croissant. I was hoping that we would get this news from Baguette, Bagel, or Donut, but it seems that we're getting it from Croissant ETH. I love a good pastry when I'm looking for my news. Well, anyways, a massive surge of users are about to come to ETH. Why? News of GameStop launching an NFT platform broke back in July, but after digging a little deeper, I've connected the dots to something even bigger. I'll detail this information in the thread below. You can check out that thread, but it's pretty clear if you read through this, it's likely that GameStop, after being flush with cash because of meme traders buying up their stock when it was being shorted by Wall Street, that now they're seeing the opportunity to come in and enter the NFT space. And that is happening. Guys, that's all the charts and news. I knocked that out in like 14 minutes today, feeling pretty good. And the reason I had to do it somewhat fast is because in under an hour, in about 45 minutes, I'm going to be on Crypto Banter with Rand Nooner. We're going to chat over there, so you guys should check that out. I think that's around 10:30 a.m. EDT. And more importantly, I will be live this afternoon for another AMA. I did an AMA on Tuesday with the CEO of High. Today, I will be doing an AMA with INX, with Douglas Bothwick. And so you guys don't want to miss that. You can come, ask questions, hang out. Those are really awesome opportunities for you guys to talk to the people in the industry yourselves and ask the questions instead of watching my ugly face asking all these people questions. So guys, once again, check out everything I have down in the description. The newsletter is awesome. I put it out 5 days a week. The giveaway is down there. And in 1 hour, also on my YouTube channel, I'm dropping my second podcast with Raul Paul. Guys, I'm working my ass off for you guys. Working my ass off. In the words of Guillermo Gomez, just let your soul glow. That's from Coming to America. He just typed that, guys. Until the next time, peace.
Let's go.